There was a moment in Iowa that I saw where you were visibly moved after hearing from a woman who lost her daughter to a stray bullet, and it reminded you of your kids. As you have crisscrossed this country running for president, the stories like that, men and women and families who've lost sons and daughters and mothers and fathers to gun violence, how have those stories affected you on a personal level?
You can't help but be touched when you meet a survivor of gun violence. And in that case, as a parent who's on the road a lot, putting myself in the shoes of a parent who literally lost a child in front of them, it was heartbreaking. Thinking about it even now, it's very human. I mean, campaigning for president is very human. Gun violence is very human. And one of the stats I'm sure that's come up earlier today is that almost 2/3 of the victims of gun violence are the owners themselves, where oftentimes you have, and I said this in Iowa, if we all had a self-destruct button on our wrist where you just press it and you disappear, a lot of us probably would have pressed that button at some point in our lives. You'd have some moment of weakness or humiliation or something, and then you just be like, poof, and you're gone. But of course, that button doesn't exist, thank goodness. And then you would regret the decision a moment later. Now, what's happening with gun owners, unfortunately, is they have that moment of catastrophic weakness, but then they make an irreversible and tragic decision that they would have regretted a moment later. And so the human toll that this is taking, I mean, clearly, we're here, I believe, discussing gun violence systemically, where as a public, we should not fear to have our kids in school or go shopping or be out in a public place and fear gun violence. But we also need to recognize the fact that in many cases, the shooters become victims themselves in various ways. And a lot of attacking this problem is trying to make people stronger and more resistant to that catastrophic, tragic, irreversible decision.